Alright, so I do have a first start video of this, just to take note. Wasn't the best, but it was raining and all that, and I just had to try it. It was the first time we could get it out the door, so it's quick, nothing special, but pretty cool. I had the stock exhaust on it. It was kind of comical. You'd have to watch it. It's funny. Rolling coal is an understatement. Anyways, if you like this kind of stuff and these builds and weird stuff like this, and you know, I do a bunch of them and all that, make sure you like and subscribe. I got a lot of different vendors and stuff that hook me up with stuff to make things like this and help out with it. So if I get likes and subscribes, they keep it coming. So anyways, I got a whole bunch of stuff planned for this. I got different fuels, maybe a turbocharger in the future. Don't know yet. But anyways, here we go. This is the basic rundown. Everything about this, max speeds it could go, everything all in this video. Alright, so here's the diesel build. Let's see what I got into this so far, and we'll go over everything. This was a gas bike frame. All the rest, I tried everything. I tried the belt faker, this gas bike frame, even an old Cranbrook, all the big frames. And I had a couple people say to use the tribute frames, but they're so thin and stuff, I didn't want to risk it with that much weight. So next option was I just cut the frame and made it so that I could fit this engine in, because this thing is god awful hard to fit. We are 4 inches longer than a 212 and 3 inches higher. So if you want to get an idea, it's 16 from front to back, and then from top to bottom we are looking at 13 and a half. So with the CVT on and all, it's 14 inches across. That's a Series 30 CVT, which is 3/4. The shaft that comes in these is 20 millimeter, so you got to take 1.5 millimeters off that shaft. I took it all apart, took it out, spun it on a lathe, put it back in. So I've got my CVT on. It has to be down in that configuration because of the pump for the fuel. Let's see. I had to make a custom mount bracket down below to hold this thing on. I took the, let's move this over. I took the tank bracket, I actually bent it down and used one of the CNC mounts, give it a mounting point up top. Next thing I had to do was create a bracket to hold my cable. That goes down a little more. It used to be up in here, would be like in the center of this bar. So I did have to drill a hole down here, make a little bracket and a holder to hold my throttle cable. And works pretty good. Now, you have to keep this spring that they supply that goes to all this, because it's tensioned in a certain way to hold the governor, and the governor is what regulates your fuel. Well, the fuel pressure that the fuel pump creates. So just keep that in mind. I added that green spring as a return just to make sure it always goes up. So with that out of the way, alright, so I did have to do a custom crank, and I did a video on that. It's a 5/8 jack shaft. I just cut the ends, put the pedal on. Got a little sprocket hub adapter. I used a heavy duty 315 chain just because I had one. Alright, so I did go belt drive, and yeah, there's a big pulley in the back, but I also have this in the front, which is 2.5 inch, so that would be a motorized bicycle sprocket size. That's a 10 tooth. So gives you an idea. We're twice the size of that. So really, this is like if we were doing a motorized bicycle build, it would be like a 10 to 36, 34 tooth, basically ratio. So we're running that straight off of CBP. So the max is like, oh, I don't know, 3,500 I think on this. So if you do all that out, it's got some potential to go pretty damn fast actually. So we'll do the math out in a minute. For max RPM, it's ideal conditions. I don't know if it'll ever reach that, but I'll do that for you in a minute here. Alright, so here's the fuel system, and this was a nightmare, actually. So I think we can get it all in down here. So I got a fuel pump that's down here. It goes to this line to the injector. Alright. So this line goes down into the fuel pump. And I actually had too small a line. I had 5/16 on there, which was the biggest I had at the time, and it wasn't enough. It was starving it going in, so I ended up having to put 3/8 fuel line on this to feed that pump correctly. I guess it's twice the size of what this one is. So this is about 6mm. That's about 12mm ish, something like that. So up here off the injector, everything that bypasses goes through this and up into the tank again. Now in the tank there's a standpipe about there. It has to go up to the top and it recycles. Now I was having it die out and I thought it was because this was too small, and I don't know if it is or not, but I was told it was anyway, so I changed it. But the caps on these are not sealed. So I ended up having to put an O-ring in it to actually seal this tank, because what happens is as this pumps, actually pumps the diesel in, creates a pressure, and helps feed this into the pump faster as the RPM picks up. So if you don't have this as a closed loop sealed system in the correct configuration, it will not run. It'll just die right out. It will starve it of fuel and had all kinds of problems. So I learned that the hard way, but I did have to make a closed loop tank, 3/8 out, and then I have 3/16 going back. So just something to note. Alright, so the next thing that we did here was build one of these. This is where my air filter goes. I was actually told to tilt this upright because these tend to spit oil and it would clog the filter over time. So, this here, it's got a couple uses in the future here. We may do a turbo on this at some point, but This is also a fail-safe to kill it. Can snuff the air completely out on this. All remote. I'm using a grip shift up there to move it. So, but yeah, it fully opens up, and I also, when I did this, you know, I ended up having a nice open intake. The one they had was pretty restrictive on this, actually. So, that's where we're at with that. This is a steel MS660 filter. So, I'm just using it as is. Alright, just like that. So, that's where we're at with everything. For now, I'm going to straight pipe this right out with a 45 about here. So, tomorrow, I'll have that all done. And then we'll give it a pretty good run. Also, I did switch. I had these pedals and cranks. I had the wide one that bends out. I really don't even need it that wide. So, I'm just going to use these now. But, I've had a lot of people ask, will that crank bend? Because the other ones are prone to bending. And it's pretty damn solid. So, I had someone ask about the back axle also. It's a 10mm axle. And I put spacers and stuff in there to make sure it grips the frame well, because we are having tension on it. And another thing to note, I see a lot of people use these chain tensioners the wrong way. Like, this would technically never work with the stock one. This is a double ball bearing belt tensioner. If you guys are ever going to put pressure on the chain, because I've seen people use them on the top, I don't know, like the chopper builds and stuff, you got to get something like that for a chain. They have them there like kind of like a skateboard wheel almost. And use something like that. It's got double ball bearings on each side, because the one that comes with the kit is only designed for loose play, like slack. So I see a lot of people do that and they explode. Anyways, this is where we're at with this. Tomorrow I should have a full ride video for the first one. We're gonna give it a couple good rips and stuff and see what's up with it. But here we go. That's it. She's pretty much done. I just gotta do the exhaust. Down the road, we could put a turbo on this down the road. So, if we do, it's gonna be probably somewheres in this area. I'll have the exhaust go in, and so got some planning to do with that. I may actually do the turbo at some point here shortly. But what's holding that up, over here on this side, there is a cast iron flywheel inside here. And they got 3 mount points on the engine. And you can put a light kit on these for like a snowblower or whatever you're going to use this for. It's actually got an electric start kit you can put on these too, believe it or not, if you do a YouTube search and stuff. So, if I can get that light kit, I will put a small lead acid battery, one of the, like, I don't know, 1 amp hour ones or something. And I'll run lights and a pump, and that way I can do an oil pump. So, but as of now, I don't have the option to get that flywheel. It just seems to be out of stock, and there's only 2 vendors that sell it. So if it comes back in stock, I'm going to grab one. Then we'll change it out and up it from there. But for now, this is where we're at. I want to get it running. One other thing to note in this also is I'm not running diesel in it. I actually have biodiesel in it straight up. I've never ran diesel in this yet. So, if you look at that tube, it's like crystal clear like water. And that's because that's biodiesel, it's not regular diesel. Diesel's got like a very, I don't know, yellow-brown tint to it. So, but yeah, that's full of actual biodiesel right now. So, we're going to do a bunch of testing on different fuels. I've got some black diesel and other stuff too. For example, that's black diesel. So, this is basically used motor oil that's been processed, filtered, and then I think there's an additive in it of some kind to make it burn. So, we'll be burning stuff like that. The goal of this is actually just to make something that runs on anything, like an end of the world apocalypse type bike. So I can't wait to try different fuels in this. I hear you can use cooking oil, all kinds of crazy stuff in it. So it's great because it only works in the ones that have the pump and ejector that are mechanical. So all in all, this could be cool. So that's the update. I'll get the exhaust on it tomorrow, and we'll take this for an official, really good ride and see how it does.